In this week's episode of the Wild 7 Studios Backlot, we're going to be going over one of our favorite TV zoom lenses and some of the upgrades that we found to make this thing even better. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Wild 7 Studios Backlot. This is your home for all things filmmaking, tips, tutorials, gear, vintage lenses, and so much more. I'm Chris, I'm your host. Thank you for joining us this week. It's going to be a fun one. So one of my previous videos was about how to modify TV zoom lenses to modern cameras. And specifically, these zoom lenses are for B4 mount. The B4 mount was this 2/3 inch sensor. It's a really small sensor. It was for ENG cameras that were popular in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. ENG stands for Electronic News Gatherer, for those of you who aren't familiar. These cameras were really kind of big, but they were really great cameras. Fuji made them, Sony, Canon, I believe Panasonic also made some really good ENG cameras, and they're still around, people still use them, but the lenses that were made for them were really interesting because they made really fantastic servo zoom lenses for these cameras, and they were really expensive at the time. A lot of these lenses cost $20,000, $30,000 a lens, and it was quite an investment for the person who would buy it. Since then, and the modern DSLR revolution, things have changed quite a bit, and those lenses kind of went out of style, and now you could find them on eBay or through other various resellers for $200, $300, $400 for a good one. And that's what brings us to today's episode. I got a few months back this, and it's the Canon J16. And it's an awesome ENG style B4 zoom lens made in Japan. I'm a huge fan of this thing. It's really awesome. It opens all the way to f1.8, which is really cool to have for a zoom lens. I mean, it's a lot of versatility. I'm shooting this right now. The lens you're watching me through is a Sony G Master, a 24-70 f2.8. Excellent lens. The G Masters are fantastic, great lenses, but they only open at f2.8 unless you get one of the primes. So a lot of zooms aren't the most versatile in low light situations. This thing opens to f1.8. That's really impressive. The other thing too, the focal length on a B4 camera, a 2/3 sensor camera, this thing opens from 8 to 128 millimeters. So it's quite impressive. On my camera, I'm not huge on conversions. I'm not big on that. I don't really care what it is. But I believe it would be, what'd that be? It'd be like having a 32 millimeter to about a 400 millimeter, 500 millimeter lens, with the conversion of what we're going to be doing today. So it's a really wide zoom range that it covers. It's pretty impressive. We can do some cool stuff with it, as you'll see in some of these demo shots that I'm going to show up ahead. Specifically for this J16, there's some things you're going to have to do to get it working on the Sony or any other full frame camera that you want to put it on for that matter. So this is going to be a rehash if you've seen my previous video. If you haven't, stay tuned because it's going to be really important information. But you got one of these cameras, you got a modern camera, you got a Sony FX6 or a Canon C500 or something like that. You want to get this thing onto your new camera, a Red, anything like that. All right. So first off the bat, your camera isn't going to accept this mount. It's not. This is a B4 mount. I doubt you have a B4 camera. I think there's a couple companies that still make stuff with a B4 mount, but they're rare. They're like high-speed cameras, things like that. You're going to need an adapter. Me, since I'm shooting on a Sony, and we use mostly Sonys here in the studio, I got this B4 to Sony E-mount adapter. It's a photo deox one. It costs about $200. It's literally just an adapter, but it seems to be good quality. It's metal. It locks really well, which makes me feel safe about it, and it does the job. Now, the other thing I was using from before, as you can see here, there's this cable here. This is a 12-pin LEMO style cable. And this is actually what powers the camera. And when you were using it with an ENG camera, you can power it so you can use this motor to zoom in and zoom out. You know, you can go from telephoto to wide. You just plug this into the camera. Modern cameras don't have this 12-pin LEMO. So what I had to do was figure out a way to power this. So I bought this right here. And I got this from B&H, my favorite store in the world. And this is a 12-pin LEMO adapter to DTAP. So that way I can power this lens off of a V-mount battery or a DTAP splitter, whatever I'm using to power my camera. So I can use one source of power to get my lens going, monitor, any focus pulling motors I have on there, any accessories, all that fun stuff. So I got this on B&H. I believe it was like $20 or $30. It's not the cheapest cable, but also not the most expensive, so it wasn't make or break. Now, the two other pieces of gear that I got to upgrade this, and they're really important. They were suggested to me by one of our users, and someone mentioned it in the comments, and I decided to do a little research, and it kind of hit me like, what? Why didn't I do this before? And they were completely right. But I got this right here, and this is the Viltrox 2x extender. And now what this does is this doubles the length of whatever lens you're on. If you can see, it's got this kind of telescopic, kind of periscopic little lens extrusion that sticks out there. That actually goes into the lens and actually like basically blows up whatever that rear image is, or that rear optic, whatever that is seeing. So one of the reasons that's cool is when you adapt this camera or this lens to a full frame camera, when you're in the wide, you could see a lot of the edges. In fact, I'm going to show you some shots from a music video I shot right here in the studio using the lens, and we just lived with it. We just thought aesthetically it's cool. You know, I wanted to play into it. The artist liked it a lot, so we said, screw it. Let's do it. Let's just shoot it like this. And we did, and it was a style, it was a look. But if you don't want that, this is what you're going to want. And this thing is really cool. I'm a big fan. I kind of love it. It really opened up a lot of possibilities with this lens because now you can shoot it on the widest side and you don't lose those edges. It doesn't look vignette. It doesn't look like you're seeing the barrel of the lens anymore, which is really cool. Really great thing to have. One of the only downfalls of this, actually, there's three downfalls. I have three downfalls of this thing. I really like it. It really makes this lens amazing, especially on a full frame camera. But there are three downfalls with this. Downfall number one, and that is the price. This thing is like $300. And it's basically just an extender. I know it has some electronics in it. I know it can communicate to the lens. It's kind of useless for this purpose. There's no lens communication going on between camera and lens here. So that's one of the downfalls. Downfall number two, which is fixable, is to put this lens, and it's a heavy lens. Look at it, it's pretty beefy. It's not a small lens at all. To put this lens on the camera, you need to get an adapter, which is this right here. Now, once the adapter's on, to get it on now to the camera with the 2x extender, you put these two together like that. And then you put it onto your camera. So you have three connected pieces hanging onto your camera. And the heaviest piece is this right here. And you know what? The heaviest piece of the lens is at the front. It's this big old front optic and this focus wheel right here in the front of it. So that's a huge risk whenever you put that on. You're going to have a lot of weight on the mount of your camera. So you're going to absolutely want to get one of these. This is a rod support. It helps hold up that front of the lens and take the weight off of it so that it's not bowing your mount and actually hurting and damaging your camera. I would not use this without one of these. Definitely get this. Don't hurt your camera. Don't ruin your mount over trying to do something just because it looks cool and is fun. Get this, use it. Use the proper rails, make sure everything is set, and don't stress out your camera too much. And third, but finally, the third downfall of this adapter is I noticed at the end when you're zoomed all the way in, you start to see a lot of color fringing and it becomes like really apparent. Again, it's one of those things. It's kind of like how I was saying before, not using this was like a style thing we just lived into and just said, screw it. That's what we're going to just do. And we're going to buy into that. You can do that with color fringing. It's up to you whether you like it or not. I'm personally not a fan of color fringing. There's some rare situations where it's cool and fun, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I'll show an example right here where you can see the edges are starting to go kind of red and green and some things like that. But overall, I think it is a great adapter and addition to the kit. I don't regret getting it. It was a $300 step up for me, and I know I'm going to use it a lot. I shoot constantly, and I would say I pull out my zoom lens about once a month, which is pretty good considering the amount of lenses I have. And this lens rents a lot too. It's really popular here in LA. If you're here in LA or the surrounding areas and you want to try this out and rent it out, we have this for rent on our share grid. So feel free, hit us up. You can come down to Wild 7 Studios, check out the facilities, and we'll get you set up with a cool zoom lens. And you can shoot your film or music video or whatever you got going on this bad boy. So, like I've said with all the other videos and everything we've done before, we always test out our lenses. We never just tell you about the lens. We always like to take it out into the real world and shoot with it. So I decided to take this one out and get some test footage and see what it can do. I shot these around my house in the Inland Empire of California, and it was quite hot outside. So forgive me if there's not like an insane amount of footage. I just try to get the best looking shots and then pack it in here for you guys. But take a look at what it can do. Notice the color fridging. Notice the zooms. Drop a comment below if you think they're cool or not. But yeah, take a look. And that's it. That's the Canon J16 with this new Viltrox 2x extender. Really cool what it does. Really cool how it opens up the possibilities with this lens and really allows us to do more cool things. Really excited to get my hands on more B4 lenses. I'm building a couple new vintage lens sets, but I've also got my eyes on some more B4 lenses. I'm looking at some of these other Canon B4 lenses, and I'm looking at some Fujinon B4 lenses. So if you're in the LA area, check us out on ShareGrid. We have a lot of lenses, we have a lot of gear, a lot of fun stuff to play with. Hit us up, rent from us. Let Wild 7 be your equipment provider if you're in the Los Angeles area. And if you're not, and you're just on YouTube, make sure to subscribe down below. We're gonna have a bunch of cool videos coming up soon. I'm gonna do some more tests. I got a filter test coming up pretty soon that I'm really excited about. And then more lens tests. We're gonna shoot some music videos coming up pretty soon and show you some of our favorite lenses and some of our favorite looks that we get out of those. So from all of us at the Wild 7 Studios Backlot, we appreciate you and see you next time.